are we at war? Is this a war that's going on? I don't, what is this? But
It's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
that's right. You know what I mean? We spit these lyrics. Man, hip hop, the prophecies of the world, the prophets of the
Right.
world, right? All the stuff that we talked about that yeah, and that were, often as like these I guess we would consider the original conspiracy theorists, us in the
Hey,
hip
you know
hop.
what's crazy? And I was thinking about this the other day. I said you go back to a lot of the so-called conspiracies we was talking about 20 years ago, and we was proven right on so much of it, like
Hmm.
so much stuff that they called us tinfoil folks, and black folks were saying this and that. The government was doing it to the food before we knew about GMO, and it was, it's so many things that black folks have been saying for years. They were like, "Oh, y'all just conspiracy theorists," and it's like, "Oh, it's true." I remember we used to be like, "They killed Martin Luther King." Oh, y'all
Hmm.
conspiracy theory, like.
Hmm. And Malcolm X,
Yeah, and
right?
Malcolm, like
Right? You can.
so many things that we said are true, like they have been true this whole time.
Exactly. And you know what even is even more bizarre on top of that? Now you see a lot of white people taking the shit that we have researched and that we said, and now they are the ones all on the social media talking about all of the things that we were talking about in the 90s, right? In the
Yeah,
80s. How about that 80s?
yeah,
But that's because you know what I mean? Like being experimented on. Do being from LA and the work that I did when I was a younger woman, I've had quite a few people who were in the Black Panther Party who talked
yeah,
about when they went to jail, it was you that you knew as a Black Panther Party member, when you went to jail, you were going to get experimented on or something like that. And I'm talking about lobotomies, shock therapy, things like that that I've heard directly from people who experienced it, right?
yeah.
So, and even the food when here I go, when I was in college, we were told don't eat the food because they put, I think it was like saltpeter or peter salt, I forgot the name of it, which supposedly whatever this thing did, it reduced the testosterone of men so they wouldn't be so virile, so they wouldn't be having all these babies or running through all the women in college. So like the food is contaminated, the water is contaminated, the air is contaminated, but you know
The
what,
information, even the
the
information we getting
information is contaminated, right?
contaminated.
But these are these people that are in these farming communities, right? These farming communities who are talking about, yo, they dumping stuff on the farms. Like we're seeing it in real time, how they're messing up the well water and doing all these things, right? So I'm sorry, I
Yep.
know I went on a tangent. That was an excellent point that you pulled. And even like the whole thing of before that term, the feds and what do these young people say?
Yeah.
The ops and
The
what all
ops,
this
yeah.
other stuff like that.
We
Like,
was on we was on all of that, but and to go to your point, I want to make this statement too. I think it's very interesting to watch a war in the social media and information age. Because a lot of the things that we used to have to wait for somebody with a suit at 7 o'clock to tell us on the news, they can't do it anymore. Those narratives they try to push, they can't do it anymore
mm-hmm,
because you have people on TikTok in real time on the ground showing y'all what's happening. You
mm-hmm,
have people in the government leaving and going on podcasts, to your point about podcasting earlier,
mm-hmm,
going on podcast days later, like, yeah, I was in the government, but I can't rock with this war. What they saying is a lie. All the stuff that they used to use to bend narratives to make America the greatest American heroes, they can't use it. Like they saying, oh, we doing it because they had, you hear the talking points that they try to pull. Like, we doing it because we trying to stop them from getting nukes. Look, y'all just said that y'all stopped them from getting nukes already. I said weren't capable already months ago, so you can't use that. And then you have people saying we only over there because Israel wants us over there. And
mm-hmm,
then you see actual government people, because if you would have said that, let's say 5 years ago, you would have been deemed anti-Semitic, dragged across the news, fired from all your job, but they can't do it anymore because we see too much. We know too much. The amount of people who were on the Oscars saying free Palestine, that would have ended your career in,
mm-hmm.
a few years back. If you say free Palestine, you automatically anti-Semitic. You automatically, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of those things, those tactics that were used to keep people quiet, tactics that were used to stop people from speaking the truth. You can't use it anymore in the age of TikTok and social media because
Mm.
we know too much, we see too much. You can't pull the wool over our eyes. Like he came back and was like, we won. And then Iran came back with videos like, nigga, you lying. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like, we ain't talked to no. Oh, we in talks with Iran. We're in talks to, and they were like, no, we not. Who you talk to? You ain't talk to us. And then I don't know if y'all have been seeing. If you haven't, Kaya, I'll send them to you. Iran has been dropping the hardest bops in form of Lego videos. They've been making Lego videos about Trump, and the shit is jamming and like dope songs, but basically telling us what's going on over there.
Well, you know what this is? I haven't seen them. I've read these Lego things, but I have yet to see one.
I gotta send you because
Okay,
like
yes.
one song, it sounds like some LA shit. Like
What?
yeah, it's not, I'm telling you, I'm like, oh,
Lay
this
low.
is that's a
Pick up
bop.
with the Draco. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so it's like war is happening. It looks different. It feels different. It sounds like this war is going to be happening on a whole bunch of different fronts. And Iran, like I don't know if you saw one of the generals in Iran. They were saying, "What if America puts boots on the ground?" He's like, "Please, please come put
Bring
boots on the ground.
it. Yeah.
Bring it." He like I'm begging y'all, come in here. Like
Hmm.
we ain't scared. I'm like, first of all, somebody who is that excited about a
Hmm.
war, you better leave them alone.
Hmm.
Someone who
Yeah.
like we've been waiting. We told y'all asses, if y'all come back up in here, it's gonna
Hmm.
be trouble.
Yep.
And that's what's happening right now.
Look, one time, let me tell you, I was about you. I was having issues with a chick. You know, I live on the East Coast, and I was telling one. I have four sisters. I was telling one of my sisters what was going down, and was like, it might go down. And another sister called me, was like, I ain't beat a bitch in 4 years. Tell her to come on. Like, that's Iran. Iran is like, I ain't beat a bitch in a minute. Bring it.
Yep.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
this tussle. Bring this. Bring. And that's what, So social media has definitely changed the dynamics of what's going on. At the same time, there's this thing called information overload, right? So information overload, you get so much information thrown at you. We are decrease our ability to filter out what's the garbage or what it is that we need versus, the garbage is decreasing. Like that's like
Yeah.
the but I think in terms of understanding, this is what I can't wait to when Sharice comes and we talk more about it, but the global ramifications, which we're always like going back to. But it has been I wish I had Dwayne Reed from the Reed Currency Report that talks about how all of these political events, what does it look like economically? And he's doing a piece that talks about how really, truth be told, all this Strait of Hormuz. He wrote an article talking about the Strait of Hormuz, but how this actually is situating Iran to be a global power in the region, because with the stoppage of the oil and now having it to be released, Iran actually made a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So in understanding this information that's coming on social media, it definitely, you remember earlier you said it allows people to inject their voice in the larger narrative in ways we have yet to, which is definitely a new way in how we're understanding politics. I'm always sitting back like, so what does this mean, right?
Right. Right.
Because these are well, X and TikTok, these are privately owned companies, right? So you necessarily don't have to allow these narratives to be heard. That's one thing.
Right.
And this war, this Iran war has impacted things like gas. They're talking about, and this is what Dwayne Reed of the Currency Report talks about, that you probably are going to start seeing the effects of what is going down now within the next 6 months. Farmers, right, who are talking about they don't have access to fertilizer. So, what is this going to do in terms of the food economy,
Yeah.
that we have, which then positions this rise of this Frankenstein weird ass non-food food that they want us to eat, that people have already
Yep.
been reporting. Rubbery chicken, like rubbery chicken was like a joke, but no, there really is cloned cellular meat rubbery chicken being sold right now.
Yeah, I wish I just watched a video about this too, and they said there's a specific word that's going to be put on the meat to show you that it's the not real meat. Oh, I wish I had it in front of me.
Yeah, and that
But
was
yeah,
that
so
was the agreement that was made several years ago. I want to say that was made because we did a story on it. It was during the Biden administration, saying that under the Biden administration, cloned meat, or maybe it was Trump. I have to look and see. No, maybe it was under the Trump administration, allowing for cloned meat to be produced and to be sold for consumption. It just had to have that label. So that's a really good point. I
yeah.
don't know what the label is. Do you have it? Oh,
No,
I
I'm
thought you
gonna
were
look
looking
it
it up.
up
Okay.
and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
but yeah, so like you said, like that is crazy because now fake stuff can be sold to us and they don't have to really tell us. If we don't know what to look for, we won't know what we're getting, which is scary.
let me ask something. Fake stuff has already been it's being sold to us. That's it. It's already being sold to us. I think now what people I are beginning to recognize that I've been like things are different. Like I don't feel good after I eat this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
why am I developing like these crazy allergies? Or why are these 20-year-olds getting colon cancer? Like all of these things point to food, amongst a lot of things. And then in the Trump administration, where you have this eradication of protections, EPA protections, which is going to see like all of these things be this digital high tech digital age often makes us think things at the right now and whatever it was we're experiencing, and it removes the long term. But a lot of these are just long
Okay,
term
so
issues we're going to see.
yeah, so I looked it up. If you see cell cultivated on your
Yeah,
meat,
it sells the meat. Like
that's
I
not.
said, cellular. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
self cultivated is the word that you look for that they could put on to legally sell you anything they want.
And basically, that means instead of raising a chicken, slaughtering the chicken, they're taking cells of a chicken and cooking it up in a petri dish, and growing it
Hmm.
out to be,
Drawing parts. Yeah.
yes,
Back to our old school conspiracy theory. People talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken was doing that years ago. Remember that?
yes,
When they
yes.
said they stopped calling Kentucky Fried Chicken, they started saying KFC
KFC.
because it
Yep.
wasn't chicken.
Hmm.
Remember
Uh,
that?
Man, there's all types of stuff. One living in Atlanta, I know my husband was talking about there was a barber he worked with, and how in the Coca-Cola plants they would clean the Coca-Cola plants with the Coca-Cola. That's
Yep.
how
How strong it is.
strong it is. So if you
Yeah.
can clean a plant with Coca-Cola, what is it doing to your guts, to your
Yeah, I
insides,
mean,
right?
you seen that there was a experiment they just dropped like dirty ass pennies. It cleaned those pennies brand new.
Yeah.
Like we
There
drinking shit that could put clean pennies.
that could clean. And I can say this assuredly, living in Italy for 2 years, which living there is why I started Black Farmers Index, because I had never experienced food that was just food. Their junk food was better than our best health food over here. Right. And I
Yeah.
was like, these chips taste like they came straight out the banging, because in a lot of these countries, all of these chemicals are not allowed in the food. But here in the US, and that's why when a lot of people move to the US, they're like, they get sick, they gain a lot of weight. I mean, that's why we are a lot of, y'all, me and Dame used to be like little bony things, little petite, and little Dame was like a little stick,
Thick.
just hopping
Yeah.
around in high school. You know what I'm saying? But this is definitely it's the quality of the food, and also we have to, the conditions of our living, being super
Yeah.
stressed,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to put that in. But yes, there are many things we could talk about in terms of the effects of the war. Trump just came out several days ago, and when he talked about the war, they said he didn't mention any specifics. I saw a little bit of it. The part that I took away was, we need more money. We can't afford Medicare. We can't afford Medicaid and daycare, right?
Yeah.
So, which means the war is not going to stop, and also it means that, so I've said this, Trump does not operate in a vacuum. I I proposition that Trump doesn't actually make the decisions or calls the shots, that he has handlers and an ecosystem that does. I think he agreed to it when he came into office. You have to be a certain type of narcissist. When you said how the MAGA movement, it rises and falls with Trump,
Hmm.
that's how he wanted it. And I think, I think his son-in-law, his sons, and some other, well-placed
JD Vance.
sycophants. Yeah.
Have you noticed that anytime JD Vance starts to gain any traction and popularity, Trump comes out and says something to knock him down a notch?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I mean, the word on the curb is he doesn't even like JD Vance. He
No, he
never
didn't.
liked him, and it was a
Yeah.
forced partnership. But at the end of the day, it is cream cash rules everything around me. And until they gut what they need to gut, this parasitic behavior is going to keep on going. Oh, and let me not miss, shout out to the service folk that are refusing to fight.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather be a heroin addict than go out and fight a war that is not mine. This is so Vietnam esque.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.